Hi guys, in this video we will be discussing about different types of data. It is very imperative to understand the different types of data before you do any kind of analysis because any kind of analysis will never make any sense if you don't understand the underlying data. So in this video and in our next video, we will be discussing about how I really categorize my data. Okay, so I normally break it down into two parts. One is my financial data and second is my operational data. So in this video, we will be discussing about financial data and in our next video, we will discuss about operational data. So, just for your reference, I have certain, real life deliverables that I will like to show you during these two videos so that you can have better sense of the depth of the data and the different dimensions of the data. Okay. So, talking about financial data first, if you are coming from the accounting and finance background, you will definitely understand these things, right? Income statement is the statement that tells you about the profitability of the company, right? And profitability is derived by looking at the revenue, looking at the expenses. Important thing to note here is that the income statement formats may differ across companies to companies in different geographies, right? So it's very important to understand the kind of industry and the type of analysis and report you are looking at. Okay, but the fundamental remains the same. Okay, so for example, a banking income statement will definitely be different from the income statement of any manufacturing concern, any factory concern. Okay, so you can keep that in mind because both the industries have different business models. But at the end of the day, the goal is to arrive at the profitability. Let me show you one example of real life profitable profit and loss, data on how it is maintained and how you really categorize it. Okay, so this is a GL dump. So I can change the name of column C as GL account. So normally GL account along with the balances is extracted from the different accounting softwares, different ERPs, and column B and A is something that you will have to do because it's very important to map your data as per your requirements before you do any kind of analysis. Okay. So for example, if I have, such GLs, right? So I will not prefer that, we should do a GL level analysis directly. There has to be certain logical groupings. So I have classified all these GL codes into different types of mappings. That is what I call as FSLI mapping. Financial statement line item is the full form of FSLI. And again, you can see that, of how I have classified the 500 GL code into smartly into different categories. Okay. And once I have categorized my GL account, let me show you one snapshot of an income statement. So let me show you a 13-month income statement. So you can see the data that I have logically mapped there is being presented in this format. Your revenue has different service lines. Then it is your direct cost, cost of goods, cost of treatment, since it's a hospitality data, hospitals data. Then, you calculate your profitability margins. This is what I call as, financial ratios. Then there are your operating expenses like payroll, facilities. Then you are calculating your operating profit, EBITDA, and then it's your net profit. Okay, so this is a real case of how you really prepare an income statement from a GL term. Okay, coming back to my sheet, so this is income statement. Similarly, we also do analysis on balance sheet data. Balance sheet always tells you about the assets and liabilities position, the ownership structures, right? So it's very important to also know the balance sheet line items and evaluate, because if you don't understand the balance sheet line item, you may miss out on different insights that is being expected. Okay, so balance sheet again, you can refer to any website, any website where the results are declared. You can go through the balance sheets of different industries and just remember the thumb rules. The way I told you about income statement, the FSLIs may be different, right? But the goal of income statement and balance sheet across the globe remains the same. Okay, so fundamentals should be clear, but the way of presenting data and how they are, putting their FSLIs may be different. So I hope income statement and balance sheet is clear. Similarly, we have cash flow statement, financial ratios, budget and forecast. So financial ratios, as I've shown you certain ratios in the income statement, there are gross margins, EBITDA margins, net profit margins. Similarly, there can be other financial ratios that can be derived from balance sheet. Example, inventory turnover ratios, debt to equity ratios, current ratios, working capital ratios. So it's very important for you to understand the financial ratios. Cash flow statement tells you about the cash position of the company. Through cash flow, you can understand the source of cash, the uses of cash. You can break it down into operating cash flows, investing cash flows, financing cash flows, and you can understand how your cash is being effectively used, whether not, whether yes, such kind of questions. And again, cash is king, and if you don't evaluate the cash movements, it's you will miss out on interesting and insights and analysis. Then again, there could be certain budgets and forecast. Okay, it's very important to understand the different types of forecast, different types of targets your company is preparing, right? It is very important to have that understanding because once you have the actuals ready, you need to really compare it across budgets, forecast, how your performance is faring across budgets, forecast, and that is how you will improvise, right? If you are not performing as per budget, then there has to be discussions on how you can optimize spend, how you can increase revenues. Okay, so in our next video, we will be discussing all these sheets in detail. Let me show you one example of the balance, budgeted income statement. So this is a budgeted income statement, but in our next video, we will be discussing about all the other sheets, and also we will discuss top down and budgeting, bottom up budgeting, a real life example. So I hope you will like this video and stay tuned for our next videos. Thank you.